What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Pod Scum. I am, of course, your host, Reckless Rexx Ruger. That, of course, is the Freddie Mercury puppet. We are back with another incredible episode. It's what we do, kids, and we ain't about to change it now. Before we get to it, as I do every episode, I will address the proverbial elephant in the room. You're looking at the smoldering good looks, the luscious blonde rock star locks. I will confirm for you that, yes, you are indeed looking at the one and only love child of one Diamond, David Lee Roth. I don't know if it's worth bragging about these days, but it's out there now. We can get down to brass tacks, which, as I said, is another incredible episode. My guest is here. I'm excited. We're jumping in, and I'm pumped. Here we go again, in the words of the great White Snake. Right, hey, Mike, how are you, man?
What's up, man?
You look absolutely fantastic on the phone. The phone works. The phone works.
It's fine, man. Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. My computer's from like 2011.
Yeah.
So I can't even update Chrome or any of those browsers. They won't even update. I got to get a new computer. But the phone's fine, man.
I think there's some kind of a scheme. I'm convinced there's a scheme behind technology, because when your phone wants you to update and do those iOS updates, and I read about this. Your battery, this happened to me at work the other day. I'm doing normal things on there, sitting in my car before work. The battery life just starts to go right down the drain quickly because it wants you to do that fucking update. And I know it doesn't deteriorate like this. I'm sitting in my car playing a game, waiting to go into work in the morning, killing a little bit of time, and the battery is just depleting before my eyes at a rapid rate.
It happens. It's happened to phones of mine, man. You just keep updating it, and the battery gets slower and slower.
Yeah.
Drains quicker.
Yeah. What are we gonna do? They got us over a barrel, right? We got to play ball. We have to.
Yeah. What are you gonna do, man?
Yeah. We're not gonna go backwards. That's for sure. We're not gonna go backwards. But I'm 53 years old, man. I do miss the good old days.
Yeah. I'm a little bit older than you, and I definitely miss the good old days, man.
You know. But so, having done so many of these, Mike, and again, thank you so much for being here, man. It really is great to have a chance to talk to you, man. It's been a long time coming. We've been trying to schedule this for a while. I'm glad we finally got a chance to do it. But having talked to so many musical artists on here, I find that a common backstory with them often is growing up in musical households. Maybe their parents played a lot of records, or they were musicians themselves. Just people that get into the arts seem to come sometimes, not always, from artistic backgrounds, or it's in their genes. Was that the case for you?
Yeah, well, I had two older brothers, and they both were heavily into music. My oldest brother was a musician. And he was in bands, and, he played like piano, guitar. Yeah. He even played flute. He played like all these instruments, like tons of them. So I got influenced by that. And just growing up when I was really young, there was tons of albums, vinyl. Yeah. With all over the house. My brothers were into The Who. That's what got me into stuff like The Who, Alice Cooper. Yeah. Black Sabbath, Jethro Tull, Rolling Stones, the Beatles, all that stuff growing up,
Yeah, let us not forget. Yeah, let us not forget. Circa 1988, Jethro Tull was considered metal when they beat Metallica at the Grammys.
I still can't believe that. I still can't get over that.
Yeah,
that was the weirdest thing ever.
Yeah, that was the craziest thing. And I remember specifically, man, being a 15-year-old metalhead, and I had no interest in the Grammys at that time, but I remember me and a bunch of my friends rallied around the TV because we thought, here's our chance. Here's our band's going to fucking win something.
Yeah, prestigious. Same here, yeah.
And they didn't, which is sad. Nope. Which is sad. That was an outrage, though. And I think looking back in the annals of history, it's always going to be looked at as an outrage, though. I know it's kind of become mocked and kind of a running joke or whatever, but
yeah, it was just strange,
Yeah,
it goes to show you that there's some record label paid extra money or something happened there.
Yeah,
somebody got paid off.
Yeah, right. The fix was in.
Yeah, for sure.
And so, but how do you make the leap into, because it sounds like you're growing up in a house where like the normal, I don't know what's normal these days, but the normal kind of rock and roll classic rock was playing. How do you make that leap? Was there a specific artist or an album or a song maybe that got its hooks in you as far as heavier and darker stuff?
Well, like I said, like they had like a couple Sabbath albums, the early Black Sabbath records.
Yeah.
And the Who's pretty heavy, that stuff. But Alice Cooper really was my favorite thing, Okay. And from that, like I found Kiss after that. and Kiss was like my band, you know, like they were
Yeah.
the band that I found. I loved them, you know,
Yep.
so like from Kiss, that's where, you know, I started buying my own records and, you know,
Yep.
just went forward from there, you know, but Kiss was definitely it, you know.
Say
Kiss and
what you want about it.
Aerosmith,
Say what you want about it, but
too.
again, I got to shout out Kiss. I just did this 2 days ago with another guest, man. But they're constantly everyone's gateway drug. Shout out to the boys in Kiss, man. I hope they realize just how many people they fucking influence, man. Their reach is so far.
Well, if you're our age, they definitely, you know, but there's the kids today, a lot of them hate Kiss because they didn't grow up with them like we did, you know?
Right.
Like to us, they were like cartoon characters and the music
Larger
was
than life. Yeah.
those old records, the music's great, you know. I still
Yeah.
listen to that. I still love that stuff, you know.
Yeah,
But
and you make a good point too. They were larger than life too, iconic characters too.
yeah, I mean, for like when I was like 9 or 10 when I found that stuff out, it was like amazing, you know, like these guys, they spitting blood and the songs are cool and there's fire and for a kid that age, you know, it's like a comic book come to life. It was, you know, it was awesome.
And so did you spend your childhood? Have you always been a NOLA guy?
I was born in North Carolina. So
okay.
But I moved down here when I was like 10 years old with,
so for the
with
most
my
part,
brothers.
So the most part, you spent most of your life there then.
Yeah, in New Orleans for sure.
Yeah.
I consider myself being from New Orleans. You know, I've been here for a long time, you know, over 40 plus years. So like, so
now
yeah.
Are you able to put a finger on, you know, you might have your own theory on this, you know, and but why do you think there's such an amazing scene? And I've had the opportunity to have a lot of NOLA guys on, man. You guys have just been a fantastic scene. I definitely want to shout out just how fan-friendly you guys are, as evidenced by the fact that I've done 370 plus episodes of this podcast and a lot of NOLA guys. You know what I mean? So, but how come such a great scene there, though? Can you put a finger on like why you think it's such a hotbed for great music? We know other areas have great scenes. Bay Area has the thrash scene. Florida has their death metal scene. You know, obviously Seattle had their grunge scene for a while.
It's one of those things that like it's been going on for a long time down here. Like there's always been bands and good bands from here, but I think for some reason in the last, you know, 10, 20 years, it got noticed, you know, like people started noticing like, wow, all these bands are from New Orleans and they all know each other. They all play in different bands together. And it was just a unique kind of scene. I think getting noticed like that made it like, you know, everybody recognized Seattle at one point, you know? So, and now it's like, I always wanted that to happen. I always wanted New Orleans to get recognized as like the New Orleans sound. I always thought that would be cool, you know? And it happened, you know? So I'm glad to be a part of all that.
Yeah, I had Kirk on here, I think last month, and I said, Kirk, hear me out on this. How about a NOLA Fest? It's like a Lollapalooza where all you guys just go out together. 6, 7 amazing NOLA bands.
Well, it's been talked about, and it was supposed to happen last couple months ago, but it was supposed to be all New Orleans bands with Acid Bath like headlining, but it ended up getting like Mastodon got added for some reason and it changed. But I think we're still working on something like that, just all New Orleans bands, you know?
Yeah, that would be absolutely amazing. Now, I want to just deviate from the music a little bit because I think fans would like to know, even though this happened quite a bit in the past. But for fans that might not know, you have had a liver transplant. I think fans would like to know, and I would like to know because my day job, I work in healthcare. I'm a nurse. The nurse in me has to ask, how is your health? How is your health?
My health's great. Yeah, I'm fantastic. You know, that was in 2016 that happened. You know, I was very close to death, and they saved me. Science saved me. They were very good hospital. Ochsner down here in New Orleans is a really good liver specialist hospital, and they saved my life, you know. So, but I'm doing great now, you know.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And also, there's a physical component to what you do performance-wise. You know what I mean? You are the front man for EYEHATEGOD. You get up there, you play extreme music, you use your throat as your instrument. Are you one of these guys that ascribes to any type of vocal care, or are you just a guy that can jump up there and just belt it out?
I've never trained to do anything, you know,
No.
like I've had people, like kids ask me, like, how do you get your voice like that? I'm like, smoking and drinking
Yeah.
mainly, you know. I mean, that's how it all started, you know. But I've been
Yeah.
in bands. I started singing in punk rock bands when I was 14, you know. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I,
It's
I started
conditioned.
practicing. That's a long time ago. So yeah, I started being, you know, a vocalist when I was 14 years old,
Yeah.
and I'm still doing it. So it's like I guess I've had a lot of practice over the years. But
Yeah.
yeah, I just go up there and do it. You know, it's my voice. I don't do any kind of special training or anything.
Right. Right. Well, because there are people that are big into. I don't do a lot of talking on show day, or I'm
Right.
sipping tea. I'm doing these, do re mi fa so, warm up exercises with their voice
Sure.
forever. There's a
I
lot of
mean,
that. So.
that's great for some people, you know, for sure. But I mean, what I'm doing is basically just hardcore vocals,
Right.
you know.
Right.
I mean, I'll
Right.
definitely have the lemon and tea sometimes if you know,
Yeah.
sometimes on tour if it's freezing cold and you're touring in snow and stuff like that, your voice starts to get like raggedy. So
Yeah.
sometimes the
Sure.
hot tea and the lemon is good, you know, but that's pretty much it, you know.
Yeah. So hot tea and lemon is after smoking and drinking, though. You put that first. Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
at the same time, yeah,
Yeah.
whatever.
Cigarettes, booze, lemon tea. Not necessarily in that order for any aspiring frontmen out there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, one thing I find very interesting, aside from your music, though, is that you did write a book as well. Are there more books in your future? Is that a creative endeavor you would like to explore again?
Of course, man. I've just time is hard to find time to do all these things I want
Yeah.
to do.
Tell me about
Yeah,
it.
I put that out. That's like a book of like poetry, I guess you want to call it. It's like
Yeah.
dark, negative lyrics. Some of
Yeah.
it's lyrics to our songs, some of it's different. I've probably got 3 of those written, of like books like that written. And
Yeah.
I just have to get the time to edit all that stuff together. I've been saying this for years for a
Yeah.
second book.
Yeah.
I just need to, you know, we're always on tour, so it's like I just gotta quit procrastinating and get it done, you know. And
Yeah.
I
It's
could put
hard,
those
though.
out. Also, there's been interest in like an autobiography, you know. So I've been writing some of that stuff down, like some
Yeah.
stories that have
Yeah.
happened to me and the
Nowadays,
band.
right, a memoir style book.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And so when you guys get together as a band, I probably asked Jimmy this when I had him on here, but I'd like to get your perspective. When you guys get together and you're going to create new music, are you guys very collaborative, or does someone kind of take the lion's share or take the reins and bring in the lion's share of the ideas?
I don't know. We've always been pretty collaborative, you know. Like Jimmy comes up with a lot of riffs, but you know, Joey, our drummer who passed away, he would write
Yep.
songs. Our old bass player Mark would write stuff. Brian Patton, who was our second guitarist,
Yep.
he still is our second guitarist. He's just
Yeah.
not in the band right now.
I know.
But
I've had Brian on a couple times, and it warmed my heart the other day. It warmed my
Yeah.
heart to see the picture with Donovan Punch, man. And that's going to get fans excited.
Oh yeah, I just saw Donovan up in Asheville. I hung out with
Yeah.
Donovan.
Yeah.
Donovan's doing great, man. He's a great dude. He writes some really insane stuff. So
He does.
I hope
And
that
the minute-
happens, man.
And when it came up in me and Brian's last conversation, I think I turned that little snippet of our conversation into a reel on Instagram, and people instantly got excited, man. It just the thought of Donovan being back
I
in the
saw
fold.
that. Yeah, I did see
people
that.
people get excited about that kind of stuff, man. So so when you guys do write new music, are you guys always going to be kind of take that old school mentality? Will it always be an LP? Obviously, people are listening to music differently now. People are going back to releasing singles, EPs. The attention spans aren't what they once were. Are you guys always like putting out a fully realized full length album?
Yeah, I mean, we're old school, you know, like putting out I always want it to be on vinyl. It's even if it's going to be on other formats, I gotta have a vinyl record, you know, of that. But yeah, I mean, that's what we usually do. The last album we put out in 2021, they were releasing, the label we were signed to, they were releasing songs like one at a time and calling them singles.
Right.
But it was only digital, which was kind of weird. But I mean,
that is weird. Yeah.
To me, a single is like a vinyl 7-inch record, you know, that's a single.
Right,
But
right.
the times have changed, so like those were like little prequels, I guess, and little teasers for the album before it actually came out, you know.
Yeah. Now I know a lot of fans might not realize this, man, but you are not the OG singer of I Hate God. There was a guy in there before you, but you were on all I Hate God recordings, correct?
Yeah, yeah. This guy, I mean, he's the guy who thought of the name of the band as well.
Okay.
He was a friend of ours. Jimmy had known him for a lot longer than me, but he sang maybe a couple practices, like, you know, he never did any shows or anything. He was just
Okay.
kind of there. I was in another band at the time called Crawl Space,
Okay.
which was also with Joe Fazio, who was in Superjoint, and
Okay.
Kevin
Yep.
Bond, who I think was in Superjoint. Yeah, Kevin Bond, and we had a band called Crawl Space, and so I was doing that at the time. And when Jimmy was like, but me and Jimmy kind of wanted to do this band that was like a hardcore punk type of band, but really slow, you know.
Right.
And
Right.
we were really heavy into the Melvins at the time, so like he started working on that, and then I was just like, fuck it, this guy's not work. I want to be the singer.
Yeah.
I got to be the singer.
Yeah.
I have to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
of course it was a perfect fit. I mean, me and Jimmy had kind of come up with this thing anyway, like
Right.
the
Right.
kind of music we were listening to, we wanted to play. So
Yeah. Yeah.
so yeah.
And so also for fans that might not know, you know, I know the backstory from about some of this stuff, but you know, certainly fans want to hear from you. In between your first and last name, you put the Roman numeral 9. Can you explain that to folks?
Yeah, I mean, it's more of just like a nickname, like
Okay.
stupid punk rock name, if
Okay.
you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
it just happened, you know. It's just a number that kept appearing in my life, and I was just
Okay.
like, yeah, this number seems to mean something
Yeah.
to me
Yeah.
personally, you know. And then when I went to jail once, and which I've been many times, but one time that I did,
Yeah.
Phil had made this thing, Free Mike 9, and
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
made shirts actually, and
Yeah.
it just kind of fell into my lap, and I was like, okay, well, I like this, you know, because
Yeah.
there's a lot of Mike Williamses out there with the
Oh
name
yeah.
Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Very common name.
that's my government name. I try not to use it, you know.
Right. Right.
Michael Williams. Mike 9 is me.
Yeah, yeah. And let's not incriminate yourself now. We don't want to bring up the legal record too much, man. Allegedly.
Yeah.
Everything was alleged. Everything was
Well,
alleged.
it's the statute of limitations is passed, so
Okay, good.
for all of that. Yeah, I haven't
Okay.
been arrested. I haven't been arrested in a long time, so
Is it's just part of it? Hey, we all got a wild past, right?
of course,
A lot of
yeah.
us do. A lot of
Oh,
us do.
yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I could probably fill I could probably I could probably fill a book with all the things I'm embarrassed about that I've done.
Oh yeah,
You know.
for sure. Yeah.
You know. And
I
I'm
mean,
not
you're
in
young,
public.
you know. When you're young, you just want to. I mean, I never thought I would live that long. I figured I would. Let's
Yeah.
just do what we're gonna do now. Like it was always like, let's do it now and not
Right.
wait. And
Yeah.
a lot of it was stupid, yeah, but it was fun. It was
Right.
fun.
Yeah, I wouldn't go back and change anything. That's for
No,
sure. But,
I don't have any regrets about that stuff, you know.
Now I want to ask, because two different times during I Hate God's career, you know, one was longer than the other, but there were two kind of extended hiatuses from 2000 to 2014, and then 2014 to 2021. For fans that might want to know about that period of inactivity, you know what I mean? Like, why wasn't there stuff coming out from I Hate God around that time? Because I obviously fans, I'm sure, you know, would love to have seen you guys, like most bands, putting out stuff every 2 or 3 years, 4 years, whatever. You know, can you explain like what was going on in those times?
Well, there wasn't inactivity. I mean, there was as far as recording records, but
Right.
we were still touring all that time. You know, we never. There was a short period in 2000 where we took like 8 months off. We were had some record label issues and drug problems to deal with.
Yep. Sure.
All personal things we were all dealing with. But we were back touring it in 2001, and then we put out Confederacy of Ruined Lives after that. But so or around that time. But yeah, no, we were still touring the whole time. We put out 7 inches. We did some splits with bands, and things like that, you know. So we were constantly active. We're just not one of those bands that records an album, goes on tour, then records another one, then goes on tour, and then record. We're
Right.
just not one of those bands, you know.
Right. So you're working at your own pace.
Yeah, I mean, what I think is we just like to put out stuff that we love, you know. We don't want to just keep throwing out the same thing every couple of years, you know.
Right.
I
So
mean,
the
yeah,
timing
our catalog's not that huge as far as, I mean, we have like 6 or 7 albums out that real albums.
right.
But for being together like 38 years, it's not that much, but they're albums that we all love, and we're happy with them, you know. We like just waiting till it's time, you know, to put a record out and record.
And so it's kind of a timing thing. So when you guys are going to make new music, who makes that call? You know what I mean? Hey, it's been X amount of years. I mean, does somebody get inspired? Does Jimmy call you up? Does somebody say, hey, you know what? You know, because obviously you guys aren't following a typical record cycle. You know what I mean? Like, as you said, you're not a band that's going to say, okay, it's been 3 years, we need to make an album. Okay, it's been another 3 years, we got to make another album. So what's the impetus for when the process starts? How does it happen when it's time to do it?
I mean, we're always saying we need a new album. We need a new album. You know, in those 14 years between those 2 records, we were like, yeah, we need to record something. We need to do something. But, you know, being on tour and other things happen and family things and whatever, you know, we just, I mean, there's always being parts written and riffs written and songs written. I'm constantly writing lyrics. I mean, almost every day I still write lyrics, you know, and, so that's all there. It's just, it needs to be put together, and it takes us a while usually to do that, to put it all together.
So what's your own creative process like? I know we talked about the band and it being a collaborative effort, but you brought up you writing lyrics. You know, talking to as many artists on here as I have, it seems like I kind of run across, you know, 2 different demographics of people. You know, there's artists that kind of are getting sparks of creativity throughout the day, maybe, and they're jotting stuff down or humming stuff into a phone or whatever. Or there's people that kind of sit down and are very workmanlike, treat it like a job. I'm going to sit down, I'm going to punch the clock almost, and I'm going to write some music. I'm going to write some songs. How do you operate usually? Is it more spontaneous with you?
Yeah, I'm the former one. I mean, I might wake up from a dream or something and have these words in my head, or just walking down the street in New Orleans, you know, something might spark some sort of lyric, or anything can really at any time. And watching TV, even, like, something can, and I'll jot it down and then add to it later and change things and edit it. And as far as the records go, like, I have so much surplus lyrics, you know, that I'll use those as like a basis for our next album. We're actually working on another album now. We're starting to write for it.
Okay.
I mean, we're starting to get a little, you know, thing to put it all together. But I'll use the surplus lyrics, but also I'll write in the studio or on the spot as well, you know, depending on what the song sounds like or what I feel at that moment, you know.
So
it's a little bit of everything with that.
And so, are you like a phone guy, or are you like a like literally pen to paper, old school?
Both. Yeah, I've got notebooks laying around, and
jotting stuff down everywhere.
I use the notes app on my phone is full of stuff, and that gets transferred into another file, and then I've just got tons of stuff written. I just got to get that stuff edited down.
And now you mentioned, you know, you guys are constantly road dogs. You're out there touring all the time. You know, just did a fantastic tour with Crowbar that I'd really rather not talk about, because I was going to be on the guest list and was going to come to the Lost Horizon in Syracuse. Long story short, I was on grandfather duty and I had to end up babysitting in a pinch, and I couldn't make it. And I was extremely bummed and upset and just want to sweep it under the rug and forget that it even happened. But, you know, I'll catch you guys next time around. But that being said, you guys are on the road quite a bit. You know, obviously we just mentioned you've been through some health issues. You know what I mean? You know, you're in your 50s. What's your relationship like with touring now? Do you still enjoy it as much? Obviously, it's great to see parts of the world and travel, but there's got to be a certain element of it that gets kind of tedious. You're taken away from your creature comforts. You're out there. Sometimes it can be uncomfortable.
I mean, no, I love touring.
Yeah.
I love it. I love traveling. You know, I love living in a van. I love the hotels. I love the backstage. I love all of it. I mean, it's been my life for a long time, so
Right.
it's part of who I am, you know, is doing shows and traveling. So no, I'm not sick of it at all. Nothing's changed with me as far as that goes, you know. I
And
love it.
why do you think the tour with Crowbar, you know, which obviously you guys are going out with them again, you know,
Yeah.
obviously when that tour was announced, man, I mean, it really, really excited the fans. First of all, correct me if I'm wrong. You know, I don't know if I don't have that written down in front of me, but was that the first time you guys have done an extensive tour together?
No, we had done tours before. We toured Europe in like 1993.
Okay, so it had been a while.
Yeah, and we had done a few other tours since then. I can't really recall what the years were, but we'd done some more tours with them in the past. Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, people just get really excited about the New Orleans packages like that. Like we went out with Goat Whore as well.
Right.
We
Yep.
did 2 or 3 different legs of that. We did America. I think we did East Coast, West Coast, and then we went to Europe with. We went to Australia with Goat Whore.
Okay.
Which it was just people just love the fact that there's 2 New Orleans bands on the bill.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so the shows are selling out, and with Crowbar, you know, they're huge. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's all working out great, you know. And we're all friends. I've been knowing Kirk and all his guys since we were kids, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Before Crowbar existed, before I Hate God existed, you know, way back, you know. We
And
go
now
way
you
back.
mentioned now you mentioned Phil Anselmo. He's always been a huge supporter of you guys. You know, he's gone on record saying you guys are the godfathers of sludge. You know what I mean? Like you guys are you know, an amazing band. You know, that's one thing I love about Phil, man. He will fly the flag for the bands that he really loves. You know what I mean? He'll wear shirts. You know what I mean? He'll turn people on. He'll turn people on to the Portals and the King Parrots and the bands that don't always get a lot of love and accolades, which is great. But when he was getting Pantera back, you know, together in this incarnation that you're doing right now. What were your thoughts on it?
I mean, I think it's great. I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
me too.
people wanted that. That had been, you know, talked about. I remember him talking about that years and years ago, you know, like, and I know it was a lot of logistics and tons of different things they had to figure out and put together. And then there was all the things, you know, with, you know, the Abbott family and things like that that needed to be settled and worked out. And, but I know it'd been up in the air for a long time. And I think it's great, man. I'm happy for Phil. I'm happy for him.
Yeah. Warms my heart too, because I got to see this lineup last year when they were on tour with Metallica, and it's great now because I'm seeing people my age bringing kids and grandkids, so it makes sure that music you know, continues to last and the legacy continues to last because it's opening it up to whole new generations of people that get to experience it now.
Of course, man, definitely.
You know,
we toured with White Zombie and Pantera in 1996.
Yeah.
And that was when they were like at their peak, I would say, or, you know, and those are some insane times. I mean, it's obviously not going to be the exact same without certain people in the band, but I'm glad people can see Pantera that want to see them, you know, they can go see them now. And that's awesome.
Now, when I was doing my research and writing down like my notes and things to talk to you about, I came across a tidbit that you were, I want to get the title right. You were the assistant editor for Metal Maniacs?
I was. For one issue, I was assistant editor.
Oh, okay.
But
that was my
magazine
when I was a kid. I loved. I listen. I probably bought every single. I mean, that was the. I mean, for us metalheads, at least in my neck of the woods, that was our Bible.
Yeah. Well, I wrote for many issues. Like I moved to New York. I lived in Brooklyn from 93 to 96. And when I got up there, my girlfriend at the time worked there at Metal Maniac. So she was like, I know you're a writer. Do you want to start writing for us? So I started writing in like 94 or something like that. I wrote for many, many issues, you know, but just that one time I was on the masthead, which was, I don't even know why, because I wasn't doing anything different. I was still just I would do interviews and reviews, and we were kind of changing that magazine around. We were putting more black metal in it, which was like the new thing. I think the people that were doing it before us were kind of out of touch. So
Yeah.
we started putting bands like Neurosis in there. I was doing demo reviews, like, reviewing cassettes of just
Yeah.
underground, unknown bands, putting a lot of stuff in there, like the Melvins and things that
Right.
mainstream people hadn't heard of yet,
Yeah.
so we
Yeah.
were trying to, do our part for that magazine.
And so the title of the one book that you have written, Cancer as a Social Activity, Affirmations of a World's End. Explain the title, man. Like, what are you saying, in that title?
I don't really know, man. I mean, I don't know. It probably came from something, like watching just people. I don't know. It's just a statement about society, basically.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's something that a lot of times I write lyrics and I don't even know what they mean until
Right.
someone tells me, like,
Right.
their views on it, and they'll say, "Oh, I think this means," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess that could mean that." So,
Well, I
a
think
lot
that's
of
the
my
cool thing
stuff
about
is,
music. That's the cool thing about lyrics, though, man. Is you
yeah,
hit it on the head. I think people put their own perspective on songs, and it means something to them. Or maybe, I think they visit their own meaning on it.
they should,
Yeah. Yeah.
But like, I mean, my stuff is really cryptic sometimes and
Yeah.
vague, and I call it hallucinogenic because I
Yeah.
mean, I've used, like, the cut up method where I just cut up things and put them together, and they
Yeah.
make sense after a while. Maybe not at first, but
Right. Almost like a serial killer putting together like a ransom note or something, or like
well, like William Burroughs did that method, the cut up
Sure.
method. He
Yeah.
would cut up books and then put them into a bag or something, and then just pick them out, and
Yeah.
it was just automatic poetry, like,
Yeah.
and it would begin to make sense when you started looking at all these words together. I just love words. I love words. I love
Me too. Me too.
and dialects and things like
Yeah.
that. I'm just real fascinated by
Yeah.
that stuff.
I've
Yeah.
got a couple of book ideas that I'm working on right now too. And the thing that's nice is it's always just been a dream of mine, regardless of how many copies, if no copies ever sold. Just the idea of saying that I published something, it means a lot to me. You know what I mean? And nowadays,
Right.
being able to go to Amazon, you do have the luxury now to self-publish stuff.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
There's a big difference whether anybody gives a shit or not, but you can do it, though. It can be done rather than having to ship something off to a literary agent or to a publishing company. You don't really
Right.
need that anymore nowadays. I mean, you can kind of go at it alone a little bit more.
Of course. Yeah.
That
Definitely.
kind of helps. And so when you sat down to write this book, and we'll get back to the music in a little bit, when you sat down to write the book, did you achieve what you wanted to achieve?
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. I mean, some of those lyrics in that book, or some of the words in that book, were as old as, like, the 80s,
Yeah.
like the mid-80s. I've been writing, like, my whole life, really. It's not, I mean, when I started at, like, 12 years old or so, I started
Right.
writing, like, really bad punk rock lyrics,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that just, I guess I started trying to have my own style with it. But some of those words in that book are that old. But I just wanted to compile what I had so far. The whole book's old as fuck now. I mean, it came out in 2003.
I've been
That's
trying to
cool.
find it. I've been trying to find it without a lot of luck.
Yeah, I know. I kind of keep it a mystery. It's you can buy it at I Hate God shows.
Okay.
But people are starting to want it more and more, so I need to get a website put together so I can make some money and sell the book. I do sell a lot at shows, I Hate God shows, or any other. I do spoken word stuff as well, and I'll sell them
Yeah.
there.
And
But
so currently there is no place to actually purchase it then.
Just from me.
Okay, so you have copies of it.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So I could buy a copy from you.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, okay,
Of course.
Okay. Oh yeah, we'll talk after this then for sure. Yeah. I wasn't
Yeah,
sure
okay.
because a lot of times, especially when something is obscure, it can be hard to find, or it could also have a high price tag when you go to like some of the some places like Amazon or whatever. You know what I mean? Like my daughter, for a birthday present a couple of years ago, got me the novel version of the 1978 Halloween movie, the Michael Myers movie.
Right.
And it's a paperback that's beat to shit, but it was like $75.
Oh well, yeah, I know about that. The my book has been on Amazon and eBay for a while, and it's like $300.
Right, right. That's what I mean. Yeah, you know.
But I'm gonna, yeah. So when I get it set up to sell from a website, that should probably stop.
Yeah,
Like some
yeah,
of that, the price should go down. But some of those are a first printing. Some people have like the first print had like a different color cover, and the
right,
new the
right.
new the new edition has like extra pages in the back and different artwork and stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
And so when you are writing lyrics for I Hate God material, are you very hard on yourself? Are you very self-critical of the stuff that you write? Like, will you like draft something up and self-edit a lot, or say, I'm getting rid of this, I'm starting over again? Like, how hard on yourself are you on yourself as a writer?
I'm super hard on myself,
Are
and
you?
yeah, I'll just say edit, 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 and then
Yeah.
edit it again.
Yep.
Just keep editing. And even still, when I look at that book now, I'm like, I should have took that out. This shouldn't have been there. This should be.
Yeah.
So I still wasn't. I could edit forever probably, but at some point I have to just put it out. But
Right.
yeah,
Right.
I like to get it down to a minimum of what I like and what sounds good to me.
I find that very hard, and I've talked to some friends who write. I was guilty of that for a while too. I would be like, how come I always get a couple chapters into these projects and then I get stuck? Because you're trying to sometimes make every sentence like sound so so professional and so polished. And then I realized that the average reader doesn't need you. I'm not saying dumb it down for people, but I'm saying though, you don't always have to choose the most, literary word or the best word,
Right.
or sound so, magnanimously intelligent all the time. You know what I mean? A lot of times you just got to write the stuff. A bunch of writers have said, if you're going along and editing as you're writing, you're better off just writing the fucking thing and then go back and do that, because you'll just constantly keep stopping and saying, how can I make this sentence better?
Oh,
How can I
yeah.
make this paragraph better? How can I make this page better? And then you find, like, I've been working on, suddenly you find yourself working on something for 6 months and you're a chapter in, and you're like, I'm getting nowhere here,
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, this stuff is poetry, if you call it that. But
Yeah.
I've never written like fiction or anything. So I mean, I have written stories, but I wouldn't probably release them. But
Right.
this kind of stuff is like writing a fiction book. I think would be a lot harder because you have to make characters match with other characters, and
Right.
things have to link up at the end and make sense. But with my book, it's more abstract, and
Yeah.
it's just kind of a chaotic mess, really. But it's my chaotic mess. So.
Right. Now,
Yeah.
one of my favorite rock memoirs, and I've talked about this on this podcast before. He wrote it a couple years ago. Unfortunately, he's since passed. Seattle musician named Mark Lanigan. Yeah, he wrote an outstanding, and I had a couple I had a couple eye surgeries a few years back, so I really got reliant on the audiobooks. He narrates his own audiobook. It's fantastic. I'm a voracious reader, but the eyes just don't want to cooperate. So the audiobooks have been great. But he was very candid, went to some very dark places. What would a Mike 9 memoir look like? Because obviously you've been through some dark stuff too, man. Like, would it be cutting yourself open and bleeding yourself out and being extremely honest?
I would hope so.
Yeah.
I actually have Mark Lanigan's. I actually have the audiobook and the actual
I'll tell you
book.
what, man. I tell you what. Anytime I listen to Mark Lanigan in that Tom Waits style voice of his, man, I can listen to that book constantly, man. I mean, it is a masterpiece to me. Not so much, it's just. So somebody asked me, how come you talk it up so much? Why do you rave about it? Because I think that's the way. Obviously, when we read a rock memoir, we know we're going to get tales of debauchery. We're going to get the sex, drugs, rock and roll type shit, man. But he really, really spared no expense in taking shots to point the dirty end of the stick at himself. You know what I mean? Very self-effacing and very critical of his successes, his failures, all that stuff. And that's what a memoir should be, I think.
I totally believe in being 1,000% honest if you're going to write a biography or a memoir. I've got a couple of my friends are in Mark's book, which is cool.
Yeah.
this guy Slayer Hippie is in there. Who's
Yep.
his name's
Oh
Steve
yes, I know
Vampert.
the stories. I know the stories. I feel like I could do a fucking book. I think I feel like I could do a Mark Lanigan book reading just from memory. I know those stories so much. And
Well,
there's part of me that was very interested in reading it too, because I'm also a huge Alice in Chains fan, and there's not a lot out there about Alice in Chains. So when I saw in an interview before the book came out that, I saw him in an interview say, there's a lot of great stories about some escapades and some shenanigans that me and Lane Staley got into. I was like, oh, that sounds interesting to me. You know what I mean? Like, that sounds like, but obviously, he's got a lot of stories there about being in other countries and going to some red light districts and some terrible neighborhoods and scoring drugs overseas and just some really dark stuff. And every time I thought he couldn't get any darker, he would go darker,
Yeah, it's a great book. It's a great book for sure.
Yeah.
I do think that being 100%, 1,000% honest, if I'm going to do a memoir, it's going to be, whether it makes me look bad or not, it would be the truth. I'm not gonna candy coat things, and I'm gonna tell it like it is. Because I think that's the only way to be, is honest about it.
Well, and I think people would expect that, though, because obviously a lot of that bleeds into your lyrics and into your music too. You know what I mean? Like, you guys are a band that's known to have some material that is dark.
Of course, and it's all realism too. I mean, we like to deal with. I mean, there's some hallucinogenic, like I said before, type stuff that may not make sense to some people, but to me it does. But it's a lot of personal stuff, I mean, this band's kind of based in reality,
Right. Sure. Yeah. Now, when you were leading up to the liver transplant, and again, this is the nurse in me asking this. You know what I mean? How bad did it get? What were your feelings? Obviously, leading up to it, obviously, it was crowdfunded. There was an outpouring of love from the fans. You know what I mean? That helped with the medical bills, helped with the expenses. That obviously had to feel fucking wonderful.
Oh yeah. I was. They gave me 12 months to live, so I was out. I was gone.
Yeah.
So I mean, I kept going in and out of the hospital over and over. Finally, they just said, "We're keeping you here until you get a liver," which took 3 months.
Yeah. Wow.
In the hospital for 3 months.
Yeah.
But the GoFundMe or whatever, my wife set that up. So like, I didn't even want to do that, but she was like, it'll be a good thing.
Yeah.
And it was cool. Mostly though, the letters and people writing me and telling me how much our band means to them, and just all that stuff. It was overwhelming, and it was amazing, man. It made me. There's been times in my life when I haven't really wanted to live,
Sure.
So that was like great to read all that, and it gave me like a spark, a new spark for life. I couldn't wait to get back on stage. I couldn't wait to be in the band again and go on tour. So that helped me to heal and go through all that, I think.
So if it wouldn't have been music for you, is there another path that you think maybe you could have been headed down if you hadn't ended up where you are right now? Can you see yourself doing anything else, or was it always going to be an artistic endeavor that you were going to do?
Well, I mean, I've always, I like to do art as well, but who knows? I used to take art. I used to go to art school when I was younger, and so it could have been something like that, or I could have been a janitor. Who knows?
Right.
Like,
right.
I could have been a homeless janitor. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say, but I've always been interested in arts. Writing. Any kind of like painting or like I did the first album covers for the band, all that stuff. So that was done with like a glue stick and a pair of scissors, and so just anything like that would have been great. But I'm happy.
I'm pretty sure that the lyrics in the or the memoir from the homeless janitor probably would have been pretty kick-ass too, though. I mean,
it depends on if that janitor led the same life as me.
Right. Now, when you guys go to the studio and you are going to work on new I Hate God music, and let's say you're going to put like X amount of songs on the album, did you guys usually go in there with more songs than you need and scale them back?
Usually, I mean, yeah, it depends. It depends on how many get written and how many get thrown out, or, you never
Yeah.
know.
So who
But we
makes the
try to write
decision?
a good 10 or 11 songs, I would think, and see which ones stick, maybe more than that, but
And then who
yeah.
decides what sticks? Do you guys kind of put it to a vote? Like, let's say you want to put like 10 songs on an album, and you go into the studio with 14, and 4 are going to get cut. You guys decide that as a band, and how do you decide what makes the cut?
Uh, well, it's got to be kind of uniform with all the rest of the stuff. We're a very democratic band. Everybody is one quarter of this band.
Right,
So
right.
now that we're a 4-piece, but there's sirens constantly around here. But yeah,
See that
we're very
we probably shouldn't have talked about legal stuff. Maybe they're coming for you.
no. There's actually a hospital not far from here, but so
Oh, there you go.
there's ambulances always coming by and cops and stuff.
Yeah.
But no, we're very democratic as a band. We
Yeah.
make sure everybody's happy. And with decisions. So that's just, we've always put all 4 of us as the writers. We
Yeah,
don't like
I
say,
love that.
we don't split it up and leave out someone because they didn't contribute. Everybody contributes in their own way.
Yeah,
So
I love that. Yeah.
yeah.
And I think that's how, I think that's a sign of a good rock and roll band, because I feel like in a lot of ways it is a family, or for lack of a better term, kind of like a gang, one for all for one type of thing,
It should be,
Good for
it
morale.
definitely
Good for
should be.
morale. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we still, we might not see each other a lot when we're not on tour, but we still text every day, and we're always throwing ideas back and forth. And
Yeah.
we have the text thread that we're always joking around on and keeping in touch.
Yeah. And so, if a song doesn't make the cut for an album, what happens to it? Does it go into like a bank, and you guys might revisit it and try to flesh it out at another time?
I mean, probably 1,000 different banks. There's probably songs and riffs and parts all over the place. I know there's one song that was supposed to be on the self-titled album that somebody actually brought up online recently, because we had played it live a couple times with no vocals.
Yeah.
But we recorded it for the self-titled album, but we ended up didn't use it. Probably because it made the album a little too long, and also it was a great song. It just didn't fit in. But that song is still out there, and I mean, I have it on my computer. It's like something that maybe one day I want to redo the vocals if we ever do it, put it out. But that's something for a bonus track or something,
Right.
But there's cassettes and recordings on phones and things of riffs and songs that we never used.
Right.
Yeah, so we're trying to dig some of that back up and find out what we.
Now, you just made mention of the song didn't get added because maybe it might have made the project a little too long. I'm noticing now, and again, this probably speaks to where we are, as a world right now, with people's attention spans, and everybody's so busy, and just got, so hard to find time throughout the course of a day to drop the needle and listen to an entire album anymore. It seems like people just aren't doing that. When you guys are going to make an album, do you guys sit around as a band and talk about how many songs and or how many minutes you want an album to come in at? Because I notice when I look at album reviews nowadays, it didn't used to be this way. I'm sure you obviously remember back in the 80s, Metallica could put out a 70 or 80-minute album, and everybody was happy as shit. You know what I mean? To have that much music. Nowadays, it seems like reviewers are very critical. If it was 35 minutes, it should have been 30 minutes. If it was 45 minutes, it should have been 40 minutes. You know what I mean? So is that something you guys as a band are conscientious of?
I mean, we are after, everything's recorded, but like, if you look at our Take Is Needed for Pain, our second album, there's some like 7-8 minute songs on that record. Right. And when we do some of those songs live, we'll cut out like parts of them. People get mad when we do that. They're like, we want to hear the whole song, but
but
it's you playing an 8-minute song live sometimes can be boring,
Oh yeah.
And we want to keep things moving live. We like to do I know we're considered a slower, I hate that word sludgy, but sludge band, but we like to keep things energetic and moving along, so we do cut out some of those longer parts. But so that album's pretty long, and it's even got like a 6-minute noise experimental piece on it. So like, but after that, like Dope Sick's a little shorter, and we try to keep it kind of like you said, people's attention spans nowadays. So we kind of want to pare it down to something a little more compact, you know. Nowadays.
Obviously, the extreme metal world is really big on their genres and their subgenres. You know, you just made mention that you're not a big fan of that term sludge. You know what I mean? Is there a genre that you feel like is accurate to, you know, to pigeonhole I Hate God in, or do you just not want to be pigeonholed into, you know, any genre?
I mean, I accept the word sludge now because they're going to call us that no matter what. But I look at it like this. We were a band before that was even a thing.
Right.
You know, we started in 1988. There was nobody really saying doom. Maybe doom was a thing, but sludge was definitely not a genre then. It kind of came, I think it's bands that were influenced by us or the sludge bands. People used to call us hardcore blues, which I thought was kind of cool, you know?
Yeah, that's cool. That is a cool term. That is a cool. Well, because I know the Seattle guys, I think that, I don't think, I know from what I've read that they hated the grunge term.
I think everybody does. Like Johnny Rotten hated to be called a punk band, you know, like in the Sex Pistols. So it's just one of those things that like, it's a label that gets put on you. And then you're kind of like, well, where did that come from? You know, like what? But I accept it now. It's like, whatever. You call us whatever you want. It doesn't matter.
Right. Just, as long as you're showing up.
I like to call us a rock and roll band because I think we're a fucking rock and roll band.
When you guys put out new music, are you a big one for, you know, we just talked about, you know, album reviews. Are you a big one for going online and seeing what people are saying, feedback, criticism, this type of stuff? Or do you just put something out and not look back?
Well, I'm an idiot, so I read the comments
it's
sometimes.
Hard not to. I'm sure it's hard.
And I know that everybody says don't read the comments. Phil told me this. Buzz from the Melvins is like, don't read the comments.
Yeah.
Because people can be fucking just brutal. But sometimes it helps. Like sometimes you read something like that and it stings, but you're just like, all right, well, you know, it could possibly be true, but but some people go too far. I try not to anymore. I'm working on it. I'm working on that. I'm working on trying not to read the comments.
You know, I think it's probably okay to read them, but probably being able to kind of like, you know, separate yourself and not feed too much into it is probably keeping yourself in a healthy mind space. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's definitely, you know, reading I mean, we mostly get positive things said, which is great. You know, I love reading that stuff. That's amazing, you know. But then, you know, there's that one person that's like, that album sucks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, that's your opinion. I mean, no, you can't please everybody. And that's a fact, you know. No matter what we do, what we've done, there's always going to be one side that's like, you know, I don't like this. And that's, I mean, it's subjective, you know. Art is subjective. Music is subjective.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now speaking of the past stuff that you've done, you know, I know every song and every album is certainly special and probably has a special place in your heart. But as you look back on the I Hate God career, you know, is there an album maybe specifically that you would maybe point at, just, you know, your opinion that you would point at and say, you know, I would say this is our creative high point, or this is where I really felt like as a band we were firing on all cylinders?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple and with different things like Take Is Needed for Pain, which is an album a lot of people do like, and a lot of our fans love. That's when we kind of came together as a band on that album. Like we were learning how to write song structures and put songs together better. Even though songs are longer, some of those, you know, but there was more of like cohesiveness in putting the songs together, you know. On the first album, it's kind of a series of parts and pieces and songs. They're songs, but some of it might not flow as good as Take Is Needed for Pain. But then as far as one of my favorite albums we did was the self-titled record, which is the last one that Joey Lacaze played on.
Yep.
And that, to me, that album has a lot of really great well-written songs on it, you know?
Yeah. Now, I'm glad you brought up Joey Lacaze because obviously, man, you guys are a band that are brutally honest. I mean, you wear your hearts on your sleeve or whatever.
Yes.
Certainly losing a band member certainly leaves a big void, in the band and in your hearts and in your souls. How did that affect you personally? You know what I mean? Because you are a guy who's obviously been through a lot. Certainly an emotional guy, who writes with emotion. How did that affect you losing a band member?
It's awful. It's horrible, as you can imagine. I mean, and besides, Joey was our best friend as well, So it's not just a drummer; it's
Right.
your best friend. I mean,
Yeah.
he was. Luckily, we found Aaron because there was nobody to replace Joey.
Yeah.
And Aaron Hill, who's our drummer now, he was influenced by Joey. He was a fan of Joey's work.
Yeah.
So that just happened. I didn't know Aaron really before. I had met him a few times, but they knew him from other bands and stuff. So, but yeah, Joey, that was just it was a shock to everybody. But yeah, just very sad, and it still takes a long time to get over something like that,
No doubt.
I mean, that because, like you said earlier, like I Hate God is New Orleans, the whole scene, I think, of bands and people. We are like a family down here.
It's a community. Yeah.
I live in the South. It's like we have that thing down here where it's everybody's kind of family. So that it's like losing a family member.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and so, do you remember where you were and how you received the news with the unfortunate passing of Dime, obviously, which was absolutely fucking gut-wrenching, man. I mean, it's just the way he was taken out and just the impact that he had and just, the affable, gregarious, amazing human being that he seemed to be. Everybody had such glowing things to say about him. It just seemed like he was that guy that just never really fed into the rock star stuff. Just seemed like he was always approachable and just everyone's best pal, man, no matter how big he got or whatever. What was your best memory, first of all, of Dime?
There's so many. I mean, like I said, we did a 2-month tour with Pantera and White Zombie. 2 months.
Yeah.
So we were around the guy every day, and I mean, he would like do stuff like help us load our equipment and just just weird things like that. But every day he was something funny he was up to. But I think probably some of the best were like going to his house, playing in Dallas, Fort Worth area, as a band, I Hate God, playing down there, and staying at his house, and he's cooking and doing shots and Blacktooth, and we're watching Kiss videos on his huge television screen. And he's got the lights like at a concert, like around his television, like the automated lights, like, and there's like, Kiss starts playing like Strutter, and then Dry Ice would like blow back from behind the TV, like into the room, just stuff like that he spared no expense.
Yeah,
like
that's
he
cool.
he wasn't, like you said, he wasn't a rock star like that. He used his money that he deserved, that he made for being talented. He used his money to have fun with his friends and to do these crazy things like that, and those were some of the funnest times, barbecuing at Dimes.
Yeah, that's so funny that you brought that up, because Kirk kind of had, when I asked him that same question, he kind of had a similar story about being at Dimes, him and Tommy, kind of going into a jam room and playing a bunch of like 70s rock and just jamming out. Apparently Vinny wasn't there, but Tommy got on Vinny's kit and just very much the same story, man. Shooting back drinks, jamming on, the Fleetwood Mac and old like 70s songs and stuff, and they're just jamming and having a good old time.
Yeah, I mean, he was just a fun person to be around, After on the tour, like every night after they finished, we'd play CeeLo, we'd play dice. Yeah. I lost a lot of money to Dimebag, unfortunately. Yeah. I mean, nothing over probably $50 because I was broke mostly all the time back then. But I mean, we would play dice and do shots and hang out, and I mean, all those guys were cool as fuck. Rexx, everybody was just, it was a fun time. Their crew back then.
Yeah.
It was just a special time to be around all that stuff,
And so is there a band from the New Orleans scene that you would say has gone a little more unnoticed than other bands and hasn't gotten their flowers? Obviously, Crowbar, it really feels good now that Crowbar has really gained a lot of recognition. You know what I mean? Crowbar now,
Yeah.
I feel like, is really an esteemed band. You know what I mean? I feel like you guys, since you've been there since the beginning of the scene, are an esteemed band. But then I think of a band like a band that I really love is Soylent Green. I mean, we talked about Donovan earlier. Are there any bands out there that you would like the public to know about that maybe they haven't tapped in with yet?
I would say Soylent Green.
Yeah.
I mean, they're known, but they're not well known, I don't think. And it's cool that I saw their first show when they got back together. I don't know, it was 5 or 6 months ago, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. But anyway, and they were fucking great. They were tight as fuck, just like the old days.
Yeah.
Like I Hate God played with those guys a million times,
Yeah.
We played with them before Ben was in the band.
Right.
They had a singer named Glenn Rambo.
Glenn, sure. Yep.
Yeah, who was a great friend of mine, Rest in peace, Glenn.
In peace, another guy. Yep.
And they were just a great fun. We toured with them in Europe, and every night I would watch Soylent Green to get me fired up, like for our gig,
Yeah.
No matter what mood I was in, I would go watch Soylent Green, and they would just pump me up, But I would love to see them get more and more recognition. I know they're back together. They're doing some tours, so.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bands. There's a band from here called the Pallbearers, who are just a raw, like, punk band that I've loved for years, and but people want the big thing in New Orleans right now is like the sludgy stuff, I guess, so
it's kind of become you guys' calling card in that area of the country. I think. I mean, it's kind of what people are expecting to come out of that area, I think.
Right. New Orleans, it's like a cliquey kind of city. Like there's a lot of cliques of, like, the punk scene's kind of over here, and then there's our scene, and I like to mix it up. Like we'll have like punk bands open for us, or hardcore bands, or weird experimental noise bands open for us.
Yeah.
We try to do different things like that, But most of the time, there's a lot of the scenes are kind of separate. I mean, I guess because it's gotten so big here, like there's so many bands, There's a band called Slow Hole from here. They're actually touring with Exhorder. I know you know of Exhorder.
Of course. I've had a couple of guys on. Yeah.
Those guys are also great. I've been knowing Kyle since we were wee kids,
Yeah.
But Slow Hole's another up and coming band that from here that I hope gets more recognition. There's a band called D-Sab Blue that are more kind of garagey punk stuff. We've taken all these bands on tour because we want to bring like these new fresh. These guys are like way younger than us, but it's cool to bring that out and show people like in other cities and states, like what's going on here,
Yeah. So, we've just ramped up here, started up 2026, man. I would be remiss if I didn't ask, you mentioned earlier, you guys are working on new music. Is it too early to ask about a timeline? Is it realistic that we see something new from I Hate God in 2026 or more realistic 2027?
More realistic, like 2035, maybe.
2030.
I mean, if you want to be realistic about it.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's a matter of like people's family lives and things like that. And then we go on tour, and that takes time we're not in the studio doing anything, but they've been writing a lot lately, and they've been sending me some tracks that it's starting to sound cool. It's just a matter of putting all these songs together and getting, 11 or 12 or 13 songs together,
So it's still
it's a slow process with us. I mean, we're from the South. We're fucking lazy assholes, but
you're gonna drag your heels.
We're really not lazy, but I mean, because we're always doing something else, but there's always something to do. So focusing on getting another album out would be excellent, and I'm glad they've been rehearsing a lot and writing, so I'm excited.
So still a little early, so still in the embryonic stages to put a time limit on it then.
Yeah. I don't like giving out and saying like this year or next year. I don't like doing that, because then people get the expectations, and then if it doesn't happen, then we look like fools. So
are there any guys out there? Are there any guys out there that you looked at or took parts from or modeled yourself after as far as frontmen?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
No, but I mean, no, not one person, but you know, like I said, I got into Kiss, you know, after my brother's records. And from Kiss, I went straight into Sex Pistols, Ramones, The Clash, and everything from there. I grew up in the punk rock scene here in New Orleans since I was a kid, you know, and from, you know, there into the hardcore scene and then the crossover and all that. But that's what I've always been more into, was the hardcore punk scene, you know. But that goes into stuff like Joy Division and post punk and the band called The Birthday Party and But there's no one influence I have. There's probably just many influences. You know, I'm influenced by writers as well, and
sure, I can tell. Yeah, I can tell that now. In terms of when people come to see you guys live, if they haven't experienced I Hate God live, because nowadays, you know, playing out is a big part of what you guys do now. People aren't buying the physical product as much anymore, unfortunately, man. I mean, you got to make your bones, and a lot of your revenue comes from being out there, selling merchandise, being out there. If people haven't seen I Hate God live, what would you tell them to expect if they came to an I Hate God show?
Just heavy, fucking lots of heavy riffs and energetic show. You know, we try to put on and give as much energy as we can. I mean, some nights you're exhausted, so you know, being on tour for a month or something, but we really try to just put on a great show and just, you know, bare bones. It's just bare bones. There's no. We don't even have a banner behind us. We don't even have a backdrop. We've had like 3 or 4 and we lose them somewhere always. But no, it's just a fun show to me. I think it's, you know, people come to have fun, you know. And if we are sludge, we have the most stage divers and people slamming, or as they say, moshing nowadays, but at our shows than any other band like us, I think. I mean, it's just a fun time, you know.
I really used to enjoy moshing, but now I think at my age, if I did it, I would need 2 weeks off from work without a doubt.
I when I go to shows, I'm not. When I was 15, I was the stage diver, always. But I used to skateboard too, and I don't do that anymore either. So you know.
I always enjoyed moshing. Stage diving used to scare me a bit, I must admit, because I'm 6'4", so I always got worried about getting up on stage because I always thought I'm going to jump and no one's going to want to catch me if they see me flying through the air. You know?
Yeah, that is true. You know, I've definitely landed on my face a few times back in the day.
That doesn't feel good.
No.
Doesn't feel good. So when you are going to write, you know, do you have a certain, you know, this might sound like a hokey question, but do you have like a certain ambiance, a room in the house, like some place where you go to draw inspiration from, or can you just plop down anywhere and say, you know, hey, here's as good as anywhere?
For words, you mean?
Yeah, like if you're going to write or create or something, man. I mean, like, are you a guy who has to, you know, be in an environment conducive to creativity?
No. I mean, like I said, I can wake up in the morning, or I can be walking on the street here in New Orleans, and, you know, if something comes to me that sounds cool, you know, I'll write it down. You know, I can be anywhere, really. It doesn't really matter at all. I don't need that. I don't ever sit down to actually, unless it's like an interview or something I have to type out or something. That's totally different. As far as the lyrics go, no, I can get inspiration from anything, really. It just depends on the moment and the time.
Do you like where the music business is right now? Because obviously I just made mention that the physical product is not as prevalent. Everybody is streaming, but people aren't consuming entire albums the way they used to. People are grabbing tracks and they're making playlists on their phones or on their devices. They're consuming music very differently than in the era that we grew up in. You know, do you like where the industry is? I know we can't go backwards, but do you like where it is in 2026?
Well, see, I mean, all that stuff is happening that you just mentioned, but also, I mean, vinyl is it's big again.
Yeah.
We have our own label, I wanted to mention. It's called Take As Needed Records.
Okay.
take as
Okay.
needed records. And we've
Okay.
been re-releasing some of our older albums that are not in print, or the label Century Media or somebody, they're not keeping them in print.
Yep.
So we've been trying to do, at least one of those a year. This year we're doing Dope Sick because it'll be the 30th anniversary of that album.
Nice.
So we're going to release that hopefully have it for the tour in March. But so, I mean, vinyl still is a thing, and there's a lot of new kids that really are into collecting vinyl and
Thank God.
turntables and stuff again. So
Yeah.
that is happening. And like I said earlier, also, when we do an album, I love it to be on vinyl because we'll sell them at shows or through our web store, even if it's not, a million records or worth, 100,000, it's something,
Right. Sure. Yeah.
And, but I mean, I don't know. It's weird today with Spotify and all these streaming sites. It's definitely, I've adapted to it, but it's definitely kind of strange. It's not how I grew up, obviously, but I accept it, and I don't like that Spotify doesn't pay us shit.
I know.
Sucks.
That's the disheartening part. I've heard that same sentiment echoed by a lot of artists on here.
Yeah.
It's a shame because I feel like the industry did see this coming down the pike, and they didn't harness it and get in on it the right way to get you guys properly paid.
There's something strange about it. Yeah. But I mean, for exposure, it's good,
Yeah.
I mean, and we do this thing where all of our everything we have on digital sites all goes to one account. So we just have to deal with one service,
Yeah.
for getting paid for that type of stuff. But I mean, it's just a small income, it's nothing huge. But getting it out there, is the thing. Somebody's going to bootleg it on YouTube anyway.
Right.
So we might as well put it on Spotify for an eighth of a penny a song or whatever it is.
Right.
Or a play, so.
Is there anybody in your travels, and you've gotten to go to festivals, you've gotten to go all over the world, is there anybody, throughout the course of your career that you've got a chance to meet where you were really blown away? I mean, like maybe an idol or somebody that you've looked up to, or an artist that you admire. Is there one of those moments where you got to meet somebody and you kind of look back and say, holy fuck, I can't believe I just fucking met that person?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have idols. I've never had any idols.
Yeah, that's probably healthy.
I consider everybody a peer.
Yeah.
And I mean, people in my same age group, like I've met a lot of the bands I listened to in the 80s. I've met the people in the bands, like bands like Negative Approach, Sheer Terror, band from New York.
Oh yes, I've had Paul Bearer on a few times.
Have you? Paul's great. I love Paul.
Oh, yeah.
Paul's great. So is John from Negative Approach. They're not. I look at them as peers. We're all equals.
Yeah.
I just never got to meet them back when I was a teenager.
Right.
So I'm meeting them now, and we've done tours with these people. And I mentioned Slayer Hippie earlier. Like Poison Idea is one of my all-time favorite bands, and he was the drummer for a few albums. Meeting those guys. I mean, there's so many bands. The guys in Killing Joke I've met.
Yep.
I can't even remember. I mean, I've met so many people that I'm just like, wow, like it's just like meeting, just a friend,
Right.
Like, we're just in the same business, we're just doing the same thing. We just never met until now. So it's always cool.
Are you able to, like, if you're around your house and you're listening to music, like while you're doing stuff, or you're in your car listening to music, what are your own listening trends like? Do you tend to fall back on the stuff that you've always enjoyed, or can you find like new music and new bands that excite you and sound fresh to you?
Both, I listen to a lot of audiobooks, like you mentioned earlier. I listen to audiobooks. See, I do use Spotify like as much as I can because they're not paying me much, so I use as much as I can.
Yeah.
So they have audiobooks, podcasts. There's certain podcasts that I love, that I'll listen to no matter who's the guest, just because I like the show.
Yeah. What about bands? Can you find any new bands out there that you like?
There's a lot of bands. As far as naming them all, I can't really right now. I mean, there's a band called Rat Cage I like. There's a band called Electric Chair. I don't even know if these these are hardcore punk bands that may or may not even still be together right now.
Yeah, that's the hard part. Yeah, that's the hard part. Sometimes you can't get accurate information. Like sometimes, like I'll go on and I'll find something on the streaming platform, and then I'll go do a deep dive on Google or whatever and try to find something on the band. And sometimes, like you'll think they're a new band, and maybe they've been around forever. Maybe they've been around and have broken up already. You know?
Yeah. There's a band called Public Acid I like a lot. But I'll listen to like experimental music. I'll listen to goth stuff, whatever I call it, post punk, but goth. I'll listen to reggae. I'll listen to a lot of reggae and dub. Dub is like a version of reggae, you know. But I listen to a lot of stuff. But sometimes it usually all goes back to like the old stuff, you know, Black Flag and the Germs and New York Dolls and the Stooges and Rocky Erickson and things like that I really are really some of my favorite stuff ever, you know.
Is there a genre that just you can't do?
New country, like the new country, the commercial rock, whatever this pop country stuff is.
Yes.
I like outlaw country, even some of the newer guys. I don't know a lot of their names, but there's a lot of new stuff. I like outlaw country. I like classical music, you know. I like hip hop. There's some hip hop that I enjoy.
Yeah, me too.
You know?
It's like suddenly we got to a point in country music. I just had this discussion with a coworker the other day, where like nowadays it's not so much country as it's got this crossover pop appeal to it, where you don't really feel like these guys are even authentic cowboys. It's like any young 20-something-year-old guy can just throw a cowboy hat on nowadays in country, you know.
Of course, and they use session musicians, some of these guys. So it's like it's not even a real band.
Yeah, it just.
I mean, a lot of people do that. Even some of the outlaw guys use like session guys, but I like the guys that are real. They're like their lyrics are real.
Yeah.
God, I wish I could remember this guy right now that me and Jimmy love. Jimmy's a big country guy.
Yeah.
But he's into the legends, you know, Waylon Jennings, Merle Haggard.
Yeah,
David Allan Coe's certain things.
Those are cowboys. Those are cowboys right there. Real ones.
Like the real stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And some of these new guys actually, they've come pretty close, you know. Fucking, oh god damn it! I can't remember names right now.
Yeah, right. I guarantee
Bob
you.
Wayne, you know Bob Wayne. Bob Wayne's he's been at it for years and years and years, so he's not a new guy, but I love his stuff. Outlaw Carnies.
Yeah.
But,
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I listen to a lot of different types of music. You know, I appreciate music and I respect music. You know, I don't like fake music. I don't like AI music. I don't like New Direction or any of that fake kind of children's garbage music, but
I know all that AI stuff. That AI stuff is starting to scare me because it is really starting to become hard to fucking disseminate what's real and what's not anymore. You're seeing images, you're hearing songs, you're hearing stuff. It's just it's certainly great to see technology advance, man. But there, just people should know there are dangers though lurking.
Oh, very much so. Yeah. Who knows where it's going to be when we're dead and gone? You know, it's going to be a strange world. Yeah. Somebody hijacked our Spotify page with an AI.
That's crack. That's crazy.
And it took us fucking forever to get it off there. So I feel like Spotify may have been part of it somehow. Because you're supposed to get permission to collaborate with an artist, but they somehow just appeared. It's happening to other bands too, I've seen. They're just having an AI track appear on their page. Yeah, it's really odd, man. It's
I remember there were bands, and I remember there were bands back in the day too, in the 80s. I recently had this conversation with somebody that were warning us, man, that we might become, as a human race, we might end up being second fiddle, behind technology, where suddenly our cars are getting smarter than us, our devices are getting smarter than us. You know what I mean? I remember there was a thrash band back in the day called Voivod. They used to have a lot of albums warning about the dangers of technology, and this was back in the 80s.
Hell yeah, I love Voivod.
Yeah, but they were kind of very prophetic and kind of saying, hey, look, man, you know what I mean? Like, we might end up being enslaved by robots or technology or you know what I mean? It can get out of hand and get dangerous.
That's another band, by the way, that I met, and now we're friends. So
Awesome guys. Yeah,
and I've been
awesome.
listening to them since the '80s.
And I love
but
the
yeah, I mean,
I love the evolution of them because they started very thrash, but they've really evolved into kind of like a prog, very intelligent, high level, amazing musicians.
Those guys were into punk bands like Discharge and who I love as well. Discharge are amazing, but they were into stuff like that, and then they were also into bands like Venom, who I also love, early Venom.
Right.
So and then they became like this really, nobody sounds like Voivod. I mean,
nobody.
They can try, I guess, but they're their own unique thing. And that did evolve from like more of a punk, like thrash sound,
Yeah, I've been working on a Voivod interview. I've been talking to the publicist. I'm working on it. Oh,
cool. Yeah. You're going to try to get Away or Snake or?
Yeah, I've been working on Snake. Yeah, I've been working on Snake, Yeah. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, been talking to his publicist. He said maybe before they go out here on their U.S. dates, which I think is in March. So hoping to put something together here in the next, 4 or 5 weeks. So
that would be cool. They're all really cool, down to earth guys. Very cool people.
And so I appreciate you coming on and chopping it up with me for this long, man. I mean, it's before I let you out of here though, I certainly want people to know how they can tap in with I Hate God and how they can get updates on tour dates and when stuff is happening. I know everyone's on social media. You kind of got to play ball nowadays. Where's the best place to check out what you guys are doing?
We have a website, which is ihategod.ee, but that our Instagram is what gets updated daily, like Instagram and Facebook. That's just the way it is. Our website doesn't get updated as much as it should. And we just opened, we had to outsource our merch, which is kind of a bummer because we did it all DIY before, but it got too big for us to handle. So we had to outsource that. So our new store is now open, and it's at Armada Merch.
Okay.
If people want to check that out, it should be posted somewhere on our Instagram page. But so Instagram is the main spot for updates and tour dates. We go on tour March 18th, I believe, with Crowbar, and that's a month-long tour. And then we've got Europe twice this year, and we've got the UK at the end of the year. We've got some other stuff in between.
Get off your asses, people. They're coming through your town with fucking Crowbar. Don't be like me. Don't be like me and get stuck on fucking babysitting duty and miss out, kids. Don't do it. Don't do it. Now I gotta wait again until they come through upstate New York again, which you snooze, you lose. That's what they say, right?
That's what they say, man. You got to get out there. Come check out Crowbar and I Hate God. And we're doing shows with the Dwarves in Europe and this band called Instant Ruin, who are friends of mine.
Yeah. Do you like going over to Europe and playing? Do you enjoy the European shows?
I love it. I love going to Europe. Europe's great. We've been there. I can't even count how many times we've toured over there. Yeah, it's probably over 30 times. I mean, we've been going like once a year the past like 5 years.
Very different experience, right? I've heard that they really treat the bands amazing over there.
Yeah, they respect you more, and they not saying American people don't, but they feed you. They'll cook you homemade food. Yeah. Sometimes there's a place to sleep in the giant venue somewhere, or they take their arts, no matter what, music or any kind of art, they take it more serious. It's more of a thing that they realize is needed in culture. You need art. Not like somebody trying to take money away from PBS and funding and all that, Right. They put money into the arts over there, and they respect you as an artist.
Yeah, and it's also very important art too, man, because I mean, all of us are leading our everyday lives, our mundane lives, working our 9 to 5s or whatever. Art is a way to escape. Art is a way to blow off steam. Art is a way to release stress. Art is a way to relax.
Of course. It's all those things, express yourself.
Yeah.
Anything. Art is just, it's there's so many uses for it,
And I am going to be reaching out to you immediately after this interview and pestering you about a book, so.
Okay, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have dinner and then I'll write you back after that. But
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I really enjoyed this, man. Mike, seriously, man, thanks for being so generous with your time, man. You NOLA guys are the fucking best. I'm gonna try to rattle off the list, man. Now it's been you and Jimmy from I Hate God. It's been Matt, Kirk and Tommy from Crowbar. It's been Brian from Soil and Green. I've had Kyle and Vinny on from Exhorter, and I believe I've had Exhorter's current drummer Sasha on as well.
Right, Sasha's cool.
Yeah,
and Brian is in I Hate God, but he plays with us. He plays when we do the whole "Take Is Needed for Pain" album. He does those shows with us.
Yeah, I would have to say per capita in terms of one isolated area. I got to give it to you guys. You guys are the fucking best. The best.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate this. Thank you very much, man.
Really an honor, man. And when I put the episode up, I usually get them up within a day or two. I'll send you the link so you guys can share it around, man.
Please, man. Yeah, do that.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Mike. I really enjoyed the conversation, brother. Thank you, man.
Same here, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Mike. We'll do this again for sure, brother.
Yeah, sure, definitely. I'm up for it, man. I won't take as long to get back to you this time. I promise.
That's all right. I know. We all get busy, Mike. We all get busy, brother.
Yeah, man. All right.
Thanks,
later, man.
All right.
Take care.
And there he goes, folks. The great Mike 9 Williams of I Hate God in the books. I appreciate him doing it, man. Love that band. Love the NOLA guys. They have been great to this podcast. God bless each and every one of them. Again, make sure to tap in to PodScum on Facebook. Our handle, of course, is Off the Couch Boxing and PodScum. Same handle on Instagram and same handle here on YouTube. Like, subscribe, smash that notification bell. Utmost thanks to Mike Williams from I Hate God. I'm going to let you guys go, man. I'm not going to ramble on. That was an amazing conversation, man. We went for the better part of an hour and a half, man. So generous with his time. Can't thank Mike Williams enough, man. Go out, support I Hate God. If they're rolling through your town with Crowbar, get out to a fucking show. Be a good fan. Cop some merch. Support these bands that are out there grinding and hustling their blood, sweat, and tears in these clubs, in these vans, on these tour buses. You know how I always roll. Always telling you guys to be a good fan. Check out the websites, get on the mailing list, sign up for a newsletter, buy whatever they're peddling, man. Be a good fan and support these guys, man. Love every single one of them, man. Love the NOLA scene, man. And until we get together and we do this thing again, this is your boy Reckless Rexx reminding you to take it easy and keep it sleazy.